Hi, this is Joey Pants. I was Cypher in the Matrix.
Hey, this is Michael Popper, aka The Kid.
This is Captain Soren of the Vigilant.
This is Andrew Lewis Caldwell, aka Jude from Matrix Resurrections.
Welcome to the bottom of the rabbit hole.
Welcome to the bottom of the rabbit hole.
And welcome to the bottom of the rabbit hole.
Hey, all you little batteries out there. Gina Torres here, and welcome to the bottom of the rabbit hole.
Welcome to NeoMatrixology. This is the place to save the Matrix.
That's right. That's right. That's right. We are live. We are back. It is good to be back. It is good to be live broadcasting here. We've got some new technological treats going on the broadcast depth waves. Right now, I'm pretty sure, I hope that we are broadcasting to all three: YouTube, X, and Zucker World Live. I could be wrong about that. Yeah, finally, we in here. We got a great guest today. Our guest today is the author of the Matrix Illuminated, and he is also a member of our Matrix University Discord. So I want to welcome Solvagant. Solivagant.
Yeah, my name is Geraldo as well. You can also call me that.
Oh yeah, so let's let me see if I can get the book up on the screen here. I did pull that up for you
physically.
Oh, nice! You got the physical copy ready to go. I love it. And you could see the there's a link there should be a link in the description already to the book. It takes you to Amazon right here. Oh, I have the Kindle image that hold on, let me share the screen here. Okay, that's the Kindle image. I love it. But yeah, it was a great read. I actually I started it on my way to Daytona back in December, and it just really felt good to see someone's perspective, and also the way you presented it. I felt like it was a good presentation for someone who wanted to, I guess, understand things in the Matrix that aren't directly answered in the films, right? I always encourage people to come up with their own answers. I feel like Revolutions really encourages that.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, because we haven't done this in a while, I wanted to give people the chance to join us here. So let's go back a little bit. Let's rewind before we jump into the book here. Let's talk about the Free.Your.Mind show that was done in the UK, because you're out in the UK, correct?
Yeah. I went there I only saw it once. I know people who saw it multiple times, and I wish I'd seen it multiple times. And it was amazing. Like, really quite an experience to see it live, like to really get that, the stage. And I don't know how much you want to go into it, but there's a
I actually, because I only got to watch it on stream after the fact, so I didn't get that immersive in theater experience. So I would love to hear you describe or highlight or anything that you want to talk about that you remember from the experience.
Yeah, so they went all in on it. Like, the idea for it was to like showcase this new event space that they debuted in Manchester, and like they had like so many extras actually outside, like before you go to the space. It's like a beautiful building that I can post later. And it's like so many extras, like dressed up as like rabbits with trench coats, like brown trench coats, and some of them were like on top of batteries on the floor, like proper. This is before you even enter, like before you even show your tickets. Someone came up to me and was asking like, oh, if you want to know about the Matrix, look out for this thing on the second half. And so as it starts, like, you're just waiting in the sort of lobby, and even the lobby itself, before you actually go to the auditorium or to the theater section, it's just fully decked out in decoration, Matrix stuff, merchandise for sale, and also just like people sort of like in poses, like you had red and blue trench coated people, basically just sort of hanging in the air, like those sort of live statues. And it was such a cool experience. You're like just sort of feeling in the mood, and there's nice music playing. There's some cool like videos on screens. And then as the time approached to like actually enter the place, like to actually go into like the theater section, you get like there was actually like someone playing the role of the keymaker, and they were like doing loads of keys and handing out keys and taking photos with people. And then the keymaker is like, he's got to find the one. So he's like walking around, looking around the audience, and this was like packed. So there was like, I don't know how many people were, but a few hundreds, I think. And so they just basically, the keymaker picked a one. I really wanted to be the one, but I didn't get in time in front of him, so someone else was the one. But then that person was the person that sort of like had the key and like went and opened the door to like that area, like to the theater. And then you had like this full-on voice saying, "Oh, the Matrix is now open," or something like that, something to that effect, or the source is now open. It was like really cool, immersive, and I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it because it was so nice. Then you sort of go in, you sit in that area like this, and then it played out for like, I think, an hour. And so you're sort of watching the stage. There's a bit with Alan Turing, where they sort of wanted to mix the history of Manchester with the themes of the Matrix. And he sort of like introduces the setting, and he's like talking about robots and things like that. And then they sort of like, original music. So it wasn't the music from the movies. And then you get this amazing like dance experience with like at least dozens of people on stage performing. And it kind of goes through Neo's story. So you sort of see him, basically the Matrix, the first movie, all the way up, I think, until he gets like, extracted from the Matrix. But like you had to like sort of like interpret what's going on, because there was a little bit of dialogue, but it was really mostly like music, and you sort of see the people doing these various different things. Really beautiful stuff where they had like these dancers like with these big nets around them, and there are photos from like the official website and stuff. They had like these big nets on them, like you could just saw someone with a big net, and the nets are all tied like a thing on the ceiling, and it's basically like a representation of the pods. And it was nice how they were able to do that without GUI or something like that, special effects. They just used this sort of like cool legging sort of material.
I think it was like a nylon, right? The stuff from the ceiling.
Nylon stuff.
Yeah. No, that was cool.
Yeah, and then you sort of see Neo show up in the middle, and he's like, going through that experience of like waking up in the world. And they changed his look a bit. It's cool. He's got like the coat is a bit more of a UK style, like it's got like big sort of shoulder padding, so it wasn't like the same trench coat, but it was a cool look. And then like, I don't know how much I can go into spoilers, but because it's kind of hard to see it now.
Wait.
Yeah.
Before you continue,
Oh, yeah.
spoilers are allowed here.
Okay.
That's what we do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the highlight of that first part is like towards the end. They showcase the. Actually, I completely forgot another thing. Like two highlights in the first part. One was where they go through the B166ER trial, and that like brought me to tears on stage. Like you see these like pretty much made up like the anime, like with the same sort of style of face. These dancers just moving robotically, like very impressive and believable, and also like over the top. So, oh yeah, these guys are like the first robots. And then you sort of see the whole bit where B166ER kills the guy who was going to come to kill him and his owner. And the way it's done, it's quite, I I thought it was beautiful because you see the robot sort of do the the strangling, but it's not on the actual person. The person is like sort of away on the stage, and they're just sort of reacting to it. But you can sort of see, okay, this is what's happening. But you have to like interpret because it's not like pure graphical. But I thought it was really well done, and sort of gives you that, okay, yeah, this guy, he did this. And then afterwards, you sort of hear a voice, pretty much the same dialogue as in the anime, the trial of B1660R. And you just sort of see like these people sort of like take him, to be destroyed. And I really felt the pain there. It really brought to mind this sort of like this issue that we're seeing, that we're going to see, where we've got these AIs. We're wondering, do they deserve rights? Are they conscious? I thought it was really nice to bring the story and to also ask those questions in a different way. After that was one of that. The other I was like at the end of this first page of this first the bit in the stage when they sort of redo the revolution of the machines, and they actually like sort of like full on bit of an explosion or something like that. Someone falls down from the ceiling with like two guns, and you just hear like all this shooting noise, and in the middle of people on stage sort of like mocking, fighting and stuff. And this is just me describing it, but yeah, it was quite an experience. It was quite shocking to have that sort of like big bang sound, and like there was actually like a thing falling onto people with confetti coming out, and the confetti was little rabbits.
No, that big bang, like, because I wasn't there, so like watching it in stream, like that didn't hit as hard,
Oh yeah, but yeah, on person it was like everything was sort of like this sort of level of, okay, yeah, this is great, this is nice dancing, great music, but then that bang really was like, okay, this is the end of part one, like wake the hell up. And yeah, and then afterwards, sort of like on the cleanup stage, they're like directing, you hear a voice saying to follow the white rabbit, and there's loads of white rabbits, so you sort of just have to, they're just sort of telling people where to go. So you would go back to the lobby where you had all the cool people doing poses and stuff, like the extras. And then you sort of go to another area when it took like half hour to get ready, I think. And then these other areas, great, like you sort of go into this white room, felt very much like constructy type thing. And you're just sort of like waiting for a while. There's this big, and this is like an exclusive feature of this event space, this big sort of huge like rectangular screen, like LCD screen or whatever cool tech they've got there. And you just sort of see like this Pong game happening on it. And that's just the waiting part. People are just waiting, loads of the audience just sort of finding a place to sit and waiting.
Oh, this is intermission.
Yeah. And so the intermission is like, you follow the white rabbit, you go to the lobby, you wait to actually be sent to this other white area. And so then you're there, and you're really close to like this little stage on the middle, or big stage on the middle. And you've got this big screen. And then as it starts, and you sort of see some of the dancers dressed up as like agents and characters, rebels come in, that part sort of like lifts up, and then you could see there was like another whole half of the audience in front of you, and so the audience is sort of like encircling this rectangular space, and then the rest of the story plays out in there. So you're really close to the dancers and to the performers, and it was so, again, like quite an experience. They sort of went after big tech and social media platforms, which was nice. It was a surprise. Like, obviously the movies, there was none of that at the time.
Yeah, they kind of like I felt like there was like a message in terms of like cell phone usage and like scrolling and like spending too much time on the phone kind of thing, right?
Yeah, so they use that like when they've got the scene with Morpheus and Neo sort of walking in the the woman in the red dress scene. Mm-hmm. But instead it's like people looking at their phones, and that's how they sort of they dance around, and they Neo and Morpheus just keep looking at them, and Neo is just perplexed that people are so inured into the system that way and trapped on the phones. That was a really cool bit after that with like Amazon and Google, and the logos are not the same, but they were pretty much those things, those platforms. And that was a really big, nice one with like just someone made out of boxes, like you could think of it as a robot or something, but like these sort of Amazon style package boxes, and they sort of like dance, and it's all this sort of consumerism sort of call out, which I think was really good. But yeah, and then they just sort of go all the way to the. It's really just the first movie, at the end of the first movie, but they made references to the sequels, which I thought was really cool. There's a bit where you see Morpheus training Neo, so in the construct fight, and so they're wearing those sort of cool kung fu type clothes, martial arts. But you have actually 6 Neos, and it took me a while to understand what was happening. And so you can sort of see the different versions of Neo there, where they're sort of like all dancing in tandem with like a little delay, and wearing like slightly different colored, like the sort of the clothes. And it looked really cool. It was a really nice effect, and I was happy that it wasn't just the first movie, because there are sequels, there are more movies. It was nice to see that acknowledged. But yeah, quite an experience.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you got to experience it and be there in person. I really wish I could have gotten that fully immersive version of it. And who knows, it might come to the States. I would imagine if it does, it'll
it was such a so well put together.
Yeah, no, if it does, I'd imagine it would hit Broadway or New York or whatever first. We'll see. If it's in New York, I'll go. But yeah, like watching it on stream, like I could feel parts where, like, because I grew up in theater, so like I know that like when you're in the seat and the lights are down, like your focus is completely on the stage. You know what I'm saying? So when you're watching it on stream, like I knew that there was an element missing in terms of like the full experience, what they had planned. But I still enjoyed it. And the other thing I noticed just watching it from home is it was edited really well. I mean, like the cinematography, if you want to call it that, or the video editing, because you have to remember, like you said, they're showing off this new venue, right?
Yeah.
But you were there. It's not like just a straight shot to the stage. Like you guys were all around it, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, so when we're watching the stream version, you're getting all these different angles and the camera angles changing. And I don't see another cameraman. You know what I mean? Like, it was just very clean. It wasn't sloppy at all. Like, I could see that, they put a lot of time in planning the visual side of the video part of it, which is hard. You know what I mean? In a live performance, it's really hard. So yeah, props to everybody who worked on that in the UK. Also, what I did notice when I was watching it, when we streamed it at Matrix University, here, Lana and Lily Wachowski are listed as executive producers. So I did not know that before. So
yeah, me neither. When I went to see it, I didn't like. There was a thanks, on the sort of like the pamphlet and stuff that they were handing out. But yeah, I didn't realize just how much they were involved, which is great.
Yeah, shout out to everybody. Randy, I see you. Temet, Matrix Reynolds, Kavion Davis, everybody. Always appreciate your support. Always good to see you guys. I know some of you are in the Discord, so you already know when I made this Lana Lily discovery in terms of them, giving this production the nod. So that's pretty cool. Another thing that I wanted to mention with the Free.Your.Mind thing, I don't know if a lot of people know, because I kind of just did it real quick. There was a lot going on at the time, but do you remember the name? What were they calling the the creative invitation to, like, how they were kind of like inviting people to send them stuff?
Oh yeah. I can't remember the name, but yeah.
They had like a name for it.
Yeah,
like they were trying to like I don't want to call it a cohort or a hothouse, but they're basically just trying to collect stuff inspired by Free Your Mind from other Matrix fans, right? So that was when I made the I'm looking for the thumbnail here actually, because I'll just put that up. But I made this video with AI, and it's got Keanu Reeves, and it's basically for that request, right? Because basically they said if you send us something, we'll send you tickets. So I sent them, I made the video, posted it, sent them the link, and they came through with the tickets, man. They actually sent tickets. Yeah, you were trying to help me find, because the show's in the UK, I'm in the States, so we were trying to find somebody to soak up those tickets. It looked like we had somebody real close there in the final hour, but he couldn't make it. But yeah, no, it was a cool experience. And man, I was, like I said, I was posting in our Discord, other Discords, not even like not Matrix related Discords, trying to find somebody in the UK who could attend that show.
Yeah, it happens. But yeah, it was great that you got the tickets.
Yeah, no, it was cool that they said it and came through with it. Of course, I'm having difficulty finding the thumbnail for that video.
Yeah, the Keanu Reeves reading the poem.
Yeah, I mean, I might just pull it up on YouTube here just so people can see which one it is. But right, like you said, that poem was written by someone who wrote the Free Your Mind show that you saw, the live.
Yeah. I can't remember like how. I don't know if it was the same person or someone else, but yeah, it was like, I think that was also on the sort of like the little booklet that I should have gotten out really.
Oh, the playbook.
Yeah.
Or playbill, yeah. Okay, yeah. So yeah, this one, the Free Your Mind B166ER poem. So yeah, I think she wrote the poem, but right, it wasn't in the show. I think it was just part of the materials that whatchamacallit, that they
inspired material.
Yeah, that inspired, like when they were collecting stuff, and like they had a whole bunch of materials on the website. Like if you go to the website, they've got all kinds of extra stuff going on there.
Yeah, they've got some music stems as well, and
right, and that's the other thing that happened during the making that video. The music stems that they give you, I don't want to call it a remix. I called it a reloop because I didn't really add a whole lot of elements. I had a couple, but I basically took like this minimalist approach, kind of just so you could hear Keanu, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't want it to be overbearing with the sounds and stuff. But yeah, I was pretty proud of it at the end, because the AI technology is ever changing. And if I remember correctly, that might have been like one of the, actually, let me check the date here, because that will help me determine where I was at that particular moment. But I think, yeah, I think that might have been like one of the last videos I made before I like learned how to upscale and stuff. So like the quality moving forward should be yeah. And that's what dude, this technology is so crazy. Like it's moving so fast. Like I'm just trying to be patient, because I know it's not going to be long before, the kind of stuff that we've been talking about, and fan fictions and, those kind of things we can, bring to life and not go bankrupt doing it,
Yeah. My view on it, if we could find a way to make it more ethical, so people can like say, you can use my stuff to train the models. That's the difficulty.
So no, I like this, because I want to, if you're gonna bring it up, let's get into it, because I feel like it's healthy to have mature debate, right? And so for me, right, where's that smoke when people are reposting memes?
Yeah, I get it, but like,
do you feel me? Like every day somebody's posting something and nobody cares. Now we don't have the rights to that image. It's from a movie. It might be somebody else, right? And we're just reposting it. And it's not like there aren't channels that have monetized that. Like people are making money off of memes.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's like there's like the manual aspect of it, like where someone I went and copied that a bit and I changed it a little bit, and here's my own take on it, versus we've trained this black box with hundreds of hours, thousands of work from people that we didn't ask for, and that's where it's hard for me to like I like playing around with it, but like I wouldn't use it to sell, to promote my stuff. Like I mean, I have used it actually to promote my stuff, and I do like it. But now that I will have, this is about a book that I've got coming. I've got like my own like cover artist. Like I want to use that, I want to like pay someone to make the cover art for that. But it is a nice technology to like play around and to see what you can get and like to come up with ideas. It's just that ethical part of like, we've trained all of this on all this art and all these assets and all this text.
Right.
We didn't really ask for permission.
So let's work this a different way. So yeah. You're an aspiring artist, right? You're a writer. So to me, that makes you an artist, right?
Yeah.
But let's say, for example, you were a comic sketch artist, right? You're just starting out, right? So what are you training with?
I mean, you do that. You train by copying, right? You look and you sort of
right.
You look at poses, but it's that manual process where it's like you're training yourself versus.
But do you
you're
feel
asking a thing. I do feel it. Yeah, I do.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying. This is an age-old debate now, because this is what I've been saying about copyright law for years. So if we're looking at copyright law, it says the word transformative, right? But transformative isn't defined. Basically, transformative means whatever a judge decides it means. So until we clearly define that for each artistic venture, right, then what are we talking about? I mean, to me, the problem that we're discussing isn't with the AI, it's with actual copyright law and the transformative issue. Because my understanding of copyright law, AI is following the law because it's changing it. Now, if it was just copying the Mona Lisa and giving you the exact version of the Mona Lisa, then yeah, that's a straight copy, that's plagiarism, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's a tool. The tool isn't going to copy something unless you tell it to. So to me, it's like anything else. My thing I say is a hammer can be used to build a house or break a skull. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're doing something illegal with it, that's not the AI's fault. That's somebody doing something illegal with it. So if you're infringing on copyright, then that's your choice to do so. And like I said, I feel like we're doing that every day just by sharing memes. We're infringing on copyright, but nobody bats an eye because it's normalized. So to me, it's the genie's out of the bottle. We got to see.
I see that. Yeah.
We got to see what the regulation, what I'm saying? Like, they're talking about regulation now, but it's going to take
years. They're quite slow. They're going to be slow on it.
Oh, yeah. They don't know what to do. And this is the point. And this is what I love about all this, because I've been saying all of this about copyright law for years. Now, suddenly everybody cares, because now suddenly people's jobs are under fire and under threat, right? But that's for me as an artist, we had this musically when music went digital. Suddenly anybody with a computer was a DJ. Suddenly anybody with a computer was a producer, right? Nobody was crying for us. They're like, yo, they're like, yo, go get a real job, dog. Like,
yeah.
So,
but I do see it's like I totally agree with the tool. The tool is there to be trained and to sort of like, spit out what you ask of it, and you sort of refine the prompt. And there's even like artistry in the prompt, if we're just talking about like text to image, where you're sort of like improving the exact words that you used, and then what you come up with on the text is actually cool. It's actually, you came up with something cool. But it was like, if we could have a way, like if we could say, okay, people who want their art to be used or their text or whatever, and they could sort of like, if you could like digitally put it up or mark up and say, okay, this is allowed, or I allow it to use, then at least, we would know that the things that are training it are sort of like, okay, yeah, people are giving this and they say that it's okay. So it was more of like that initial like opening, the genie opening, the genie coming out of the bottle moment, where it's like, okay, we've got this technology and we're going to put everything that we find on the internet there. And, that's not the AI's fault. It's whoever built those systems.
Well, so again, as far as my understanding of copyright law is, it's all about whether or not you're making money on it, right? So if
Yeah,
I was to
that's how you frame it with the copyright law, which is fine. Like
Right.
mine is more about who made it and how is their thing being rejigged, I guess, reshaped and transformed. But it's in the automation of it. It's the fact that you can do it at this gigantic scale, and that's the new thing. That's the scary thing. That's where it's different from the previous things. And I assume that at some point it's going to be regularized in some way. But yeah, it's a cool tech to play with, and yeah, with me it's just like, how do you use it? Like what's the? I think it's still, yeah, it's a debate that we're having right now.
Yeah, no, people could definitely use it to make deep fakes and do, nefarious things. I think, but that, to me, that's where, the separation should be. I feel like the individual should be held accountable for how they use it, and not necessarily that, the AI technology itself should be held accountable for how it's being used. I feel like that's like the line that needs to be, I guess, drawn in the sand, so to speak. But yeah, that was a, a tangent we didn't expect, right? So yeah, so you so okay, right. We talked about Free Your Mind a little bit. We mentioned that the Wachowskis did give their blessing. They are listed as executive producers here. I'm just getting caught up on the notes. So right, and we're like halfway through. So let's get into your book, man. Matrix Illuminated. How did you come up with this idea? Where'd the inspiration come from? Like, give me the backstory. I want the origin story of this book.
Yeah, so 2020 and some 20 years ago, pretty much. Me and friends at high school, so pretty much had just finished watching the Matrix Revolutions. Minds blown. Some people very happy, some people disappointed, but we were sort of like dealing with those feelings. And we had to do school work, like project work for a Portuguese class. And the teacher really wanted the students to use a book, like someone was going to do something on Lord of the Rings, someone was going to do something on some other sort of epic fantasy or sci-fi tome. But we were like, no, we want to do the Matrix movies. And actually, you've got that on screen, João Nascimento. That's someone who wrote that paper with me and two other colleagues.
Very cool.
Back in the day. And we went all in. This was like, okay, we're mixing something that we gotta like do, this school project, but we can have fun with it. And from my perspective, like, I just went all in on it, and we ended up with like 120 A4 pages. I have pictures and images that we got off the net and from the movies and things, and just loads and loads of text, like analysis on the plot of the three movies, sort of character analysis, because that was the goal for the project. It was like, okay, interpret the text. And so we did all that and put in a load of worked way more than what the teacher was expecting. We ended up with a top grade, which is great. And then for years, that's sort of like, that was it just sort of existed as this written in Portuguese text. And pretty much every year I would go like, I should write a book about this, and I should check in with my colleagues and friends and like, yeah, we should write a book about this. And they were like, they gave me the blessing to go ahead. It just took me ages to actually finish it and translate it to English. My wife copy edited and proofread it. And it was a learning experience to like go from zero to, there's this book, or there's this old text, translating, adding more material, adding a lot of like interpretive stuff, getting it all ready, and then going through the sort of like Kindle self-publishing and formatting it, sending over some paperback copies to myself to like know that the text is on the right place, that you can read it well. And even this one, I ended up doing more space on that one, on the page. And it was like a learning experience in getting it out, and it was nice. And I managed to time the release to be on the year that Resurrections came out. So I posted a few ads And yeah, my wife's on the chat as well.
Yeah, you brought the whole family. I
Yeah.
love it. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah.
And thanks for helping. No, it came out really clean. Like it's clearly a team effort. Like it worked out. I was really enjoying it as a read. Like I said, it was very professional. And I love that you open with the Carl Sagan quote.
Yeah, that one that will
I love
resonate
that.
as well with João as well. He's a big Carl Sagan fan as well, and my brother as well. And it was like, it's like unrelated, you know, not related, but it's like it's not necessarily the first thing that you think about when you think about the Matrix.
Let me just read it out loud for anybody who
Yeah.
can't read it on the screen. It says, "The
Yeah.
cosmos is within us. We are made of star stuff. We are a way for the universe to know itself." Carl Sagan. It's a great quote. I love that quote.
Yeah, it's such a it's a motivational, you know. It's so like the fact that we are asking questions about the world around us, asking questions about art that is put in front of us, or that we ourselves can make art in that way. Yeah, it's so inspirational. It was really like, yeah, this is the thing that goes on the first page. It made sense. Yeah, thanks for calling that out. I mean, I can talk a lot more. I don't know if you got specific questions about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I want to. There was a comment here that I want to circle back to,
Oh, yeah.
but just real quick, just so I wanted to say one more thing about the Carl Sagan thing. So where I do think it is related to the Matrix, and you know, we're gonna go deep here. This is probably 300 level Matrix philosophy, right? But you know, one way that I describe Neo is the manifestation of choice, right? So he is the, you know, the remainder. He is that 1% of us that, you know, rejected the system, right? And all that energy kind of creates this dude, right? And again, that's us all being connected. And Neo is the manifestation of that connection. You know, that from many we are one, you know. He was just the manifestation of that, you know. So yeah, I think it is totally relevant, and I'm like once I got there, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be great. Like, but yeah, the other thing that jumped out to me in the book, because you know I do want people to you know, read it on their own. I don't want to spoil all of it, but I thought one thing that was cool that I didn't expect was like you stopped and did like a character dossier.
Yeah, so that was pretty much, they were chapters on the original like project, like school project, and I sort of expanded on it. And the idea is really like, for each character, you know, have a cool quote or their most iconic quote, and then sort of like describe, you know, just their basic personality and stuff, and then go into like, what's the symbolism with the name, what are the sort of actions that they go through in the movies, and like how does their character grow. I really wanted to like showcase that, you know, how they're not stagnant characters. I think my favorite one, or one that I like, is the Trinity one, where I go into, you know, just sort of like, yes, Trinity, sort of like Christianity, but also you could think about like the three goddesses, which is sort of like paganism side of things, where you've got like the three goddesses of like Maiden, Mother, and Crone. And I was like, how can I map these goddesses to the different stages of Trinity life? And it's an interpretive exercise.
No, and that's why I always encourage people to come up with their own answers, because I would have never thought of that. In fact, I have a Holy Trinity video on this channel, and it's totally different than what you were talking about. And that's so cool to me that we can, you know, find these different elements that, you know, are in this film or in this franchise. And you know, again, like I said, I felt like a lot of it is left open-ended so that we can have those moments of discovery on our own. And I think that's what makes this franchise really unique.
Yeah, and it's such a, like, I wanted to launch onto the death of the author topic, which I think I mentioned on the book as well at the beginning, which is sort of this idea that, and nowadays it's really hard, because I find it on social media, people just want to like, oh, what did the director intend with that? And if someone comes up with a different idea, it's kind of shut down, and it's like, oh, that's not what X person meant, so we don't care. We just care about what that person meant. Nowadays, I'm finding that on social media. So it's like, well, there's this guy, this French guy who said, well, this death of the author idea, where once the art is out, it's up to the viewer, to the reader, to the person who's interacting with it. They own it. They can create their sort of own interpretations of it, and those are valid as well. It doesn't have to match up what the person was thinking. I think that's like crucial to the Matrix, and I think we gotta kind of have to bring that back.
Yeah, no, and I think that's part of what, makes participating actively in this franchise such a mental exercise,
Yeah, and you never kind of run out. Like 20 years,
right? We're still talking about it.
Like and just conversations, and every time there will be one of us will have an idea that the other person hadn't thought about. And one thing that ended up on the book, that like one of the many things that I had never thought about, was just from talking with someone, was like how Smith is sort of like this shadow version of Neo, and it's like brought back to like Carl Jung,
yeah.
And it was such a different interpretation. Yeah, they are, it's almost like it kind of diminishes the Smith character a bit, because it's like, oh yeah, he's really, when they say the opposite of Neo, he's actually like the bad version of him. He's like Neo's darkest thoughts and things like that.
Yeah,
and it was nice to think about it like that.
The dark side Kermit.
yeah, with the little
hood. Yeah, no, it's funny that you brought up Jung, because I've been doing some research and I've been coming across a lot of his work lately. And also because I don't know if you ever watched The Glitch in the Matrix. It was a documentary that came out like, I want to say like a few months before the movie, before Resurrections. I didn't. Yeah, it was unrelated to the franchise. I believe the guy's name is Rodney Asher. Vesuvius and I talked about it on this channel on a live stream, when it came out. But I was looking at some of his work. I think it was like his IMDb or something. And he also did a documentary called The Nightmare, and it's about sleep paralysis.
Oh,
yeah. And apparently like there's this whole like shadow people phenomenon related to that I never even heard of. So like I'm like trying to find what streaming platform I can watch this documentary on. But yeah, before we move on, I wanted to, before I lose the comment here. So a Freckle Man asked, copyright infringement, what about fair use? And he said, in regards to memes at least. So okay, fair use, I just want to get this knocked out because he brought it up, and we're on YouTube, and I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but fair use is a term that gets thrown around YouTube all the time. All right, here's the truth about fair use. Fair use is a term that only matters if you're in a courtroom. If someone is trying to sue you, you can use fair use as your defense, right? So if YouTube tries to give you a copyright strike, they don't care about fair use. Like, that's not going to save you, right? So like you said, you're asking in regards to memes. So now we're going back to what I was saying before about copyright law. If there's no money involved, no one's coming. No one's taking you to court, because, any number divided by 0 is still 0. If you're not making money, they don't care. I mean, if they do care, you might get a cease and desist because of maybe like the content, right? Like maybe you're turning their messaging into something they don't like, right? And they might tell you to take it down. That could happen. But again, unless you're in court, fair use, that term's not going to stop. It's not going to save you. It's not going to keep your content up. Now, in that fair use conversation, that T word comes up again, transformative. So if your argument is fair use, by commenting on whatever it is, now because you're adding your opinion or whatever it is, whatever audio, now you've quote transformed that content. So that's something that is a part of the fair use discussion. But again, it's only going to come up if they're suing you in court. Otherwise, it's not a defense. So yeah, when it comes to memes, I think the reality is nobody cares, because they just say, well, people aren't making money on it. We're not losing money on it. So how are we going to regulate this? Just let them run wild. Like I said, there are channels, pages that have found a way to monetize their channel, and they're posting memes, so they're making money off of it. But again, now you have to take that channel to court, and then it's like, that stuff is expensive, So I think at this point, when you talk about the meme game, I don't think it's worth it for someone to go after one of those channels. And those are the only ones that I know of, like, that are obviously making money with it. Now, you could say that some people will post a meme as an advertisement, like on an Instagram ad, things like that. But again, now we're kind of in this dicey gray copyright area. So they use it for an advertisement. So because they use it for an advertisement, if they get customers converted from that advertisement, do they owe the person who made the original image that they stole for the meme money? I don't know. Sounds like a reach. I don't know. So hopefully that answered your question. Like I said, you just got to be careful out there. And when it comes to AI specifically, you know, I think it's going to be a while before they really iron down the regulation. I've heard some talk of like watermarking things, which I think will help. I don't think it solves the problem. I think
yeah, there's some digital stuff where it sort of poisons the result. So it just makes it, I don't know how it looks, but it just makes it look.
And I think, and to your point earlier, I think any artist who says, I don't want my art to be used for training, I think their wishes should be honored. You know, like if, you know, a certain artist who has famous work knows that his work is being used in that training, then yeah, if he says take it out, then they should take it out. Same thing like with a cease and desist. I feel like the artist should ultimately have control over their work. And I feel like that's the other part of this discussion that kind of rubs me the wrong way. Like, I feel like when the little artist is getting stolen from, nobody's fighting for them. You know, now that the corporations are getting stolen from hand over fist, you know, now it's a problem, you know? So, you know, just keep that smoke. Keep that same energy when it's me getting robbed, you know? That's my thing. But yeah, moving on. Oh, this is a perfect segue. Yin and yang. This is why I rock with you, Temet. So yeah, so let's bring balance to the force here. You know, we talked about your book here, and you mentioned that you were working on a new project. So can you tell us a little bit about what your next project is? Because I think that's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, so I'm a huge fan, you know, obviously Matrix, William Gibson, Cyberpunk, you know, reading Neuromancer again, like pretty much 20 years ago. It's been a huge like inspiration for me. So I'm writing a fiction series. Basically, it's sort of like I went through the experience of self-publishing one book, and I thought I can self-publish a lot more. And so I don't know when the first one.
I had that same feeling. Congratulations on self-publishing, by the way. But after you do it, you're like, oh, we can keep doing this.
Yeah. And yeah, so I'm writing the series is called Tape World, and the first book is called Induction. Kind of wanted Induction as a sort of like, yeah, this is the first book in the series, and Tape World, duct tape. So the cool thing about this book is like the idea that I have with it is sort of like set it in the future from our present time. So it's like, you know, science fiction, cyberpunk, make it, you know, give it that cool cyberpunk look, but also try and make it realistic, try and make it a bit more relatable. And it's got virtual realities in there. There's a whole thing called Tape World. And yeah, the cool thing that I like about it was I wanted to come up with a way that you'd go into this world without having too much tech. And so all that they have to do is stick a piece of duct tape on this bit, and they just sort of jump into this other world.
Oh, cool.
And then it'll be up to, you know, as I write, you know, we'll see what else we can find out about this world. But I just really like the, you see in the Matrix or in Neuromancer, when the character goes through that point where they're in the real world and then they're in this other world, and that sort of like transition moment is such a sort of cool moment, and I really wanted to sort of like play into that and have the character sort of, maybe they're acting out their movements or they have to like train to not act out the movements. So also big inspiration from Neil Stephenson's Snow Crash, which is also like virtual reality, and it's got this sort of Ready Player One feel of they're acting out in the real world as they're doing things in the fake world. But I want to like play around with that and see what what is possible there. But yeah, it's called Induction Tape World Book 1, and I'm
Tape
still
World
writing
Book
it.
1. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely drop your contact information in the chat so people can follow you and keep
Yeah.
updated to when that comes out. Also, I was going to say, since you're a member over at Matrix University Discord, when you are finished, just like with Matrix Illuminated, go ahead and share it, with the community there. Even though it's not
will
Matrix
do.
specific, we still have fan fiction sections. So, and you like you said, it's cyberpunk. It's about a virtual world. So I think it'll be something that'll resonate with our crew over there.
Yeah, it's also got a bit of a maybe controversial moment where another one of the biggest problems in our world right now is climate change. And I'm a vegan. So in the book,
Okay.
I wanted to imagine what happens if like 90% of the world is vegan. And so is that like one of the ways that we sort of like try and get out of climate change? So that's another part of the book. Where it's another,
yeah, no, that's cool. Cause I know with like the Agent Syndicate, for example, like that was one of the times that I tried to like, include some type of messaging. So yeah, I think that, once you hit like a certain point in writing like that becomes more important, because before I didn't really care about it at all, but now I don't know, I just understand it more or understand its value to the overall project more. You put more of yourself into it when you're trying to say something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the part of it.
Something.
Yeah, I think that's the part of it that I didn't understand was important before. With that said, now everything like drains the hell out of me, but because I'm like pouring so much of myself into it. Right, and then so then I mentioned here, I'm just making sure we cover everything here. Oh, right. So I mean, we already kind of said, but I just wanted to say it again, just in case anybody was curious or wanted to check out the Matrix Illuminated on their own. It is available right now on Amazon and Kindle, correct?
Yeah, on paperback as well. And it's all on Amazon. Only on Amazon.
Yeah, both paperback and ebook versions are available right now, so you can go check that out on Amazon. There's a direct link in the description, so please take some time to support the Matrix Illuminated. It's a great read. And then the next thing here, I know Ben mentioned an Animatrix party in the Matrix University Discord. So if anybody is interested in doing that again, I mean, I don't think it'll be called Project Matriculated this time. We'll have to come up with a different name, but I think if we were gonna do something, right, the Animatrix, I believe the anniversary is June 3rd, so that would be like
they should have done a new one.
I know. And that's the thing. I was actually surprised no one in the chat has asked, what's coming next. But I think maybe most people have accepted that we're not getting anything anytime soon.
Yeah, the fourth movie was a bit of a miracle, really. It was like the right time before they start cutting everything.
Right, cutting everything and not finishing stuff. And that's the thing. That's the one thing I will say. I feel like that's the silver lining. Like if you're gonna try to pull a positive out of it, now's not the right time. It's a mess over there, man. Yeah. Like so yeah, but yeah, since I know people I know people always ask, so I will say as far as updates with the franchise that I know of, like I just said, I don't know that we're getting anything. In fact, I thought that because the end of this month would be the end of the first quarter, so I thought that if we were going to hear something, it would be around now. And the reason for that was because this past December 2023 was the last date that I saw from the previous judgment about the arbitration. And they said that by December 2023, they had to have a decision. So that is come and gone. Now, what we have seen is what's that? Willy Wonka came out. That movie was in the theaters in December, right? So that was part of that conversation, and they got a green light for the Edge of Tomorrow series. I don't know if they started shooting or where they are in production with that. I haven't followed up with that, but the point being, it got a green light. So they had a conversation. Where the Matrix falls in that conversation, your guess is as good as mine. Nobody's mentioned anything from either side. Just because they came to a Village Roadshow, came to an agreement on those two projects, it does not mean they came to an agreement on the Resurrections issue of the box office and the money, and if they haven't figured that out, then I can't expect them to be doing anything moving forward. Now, that doesn't mean they didn't work it out. They could have worked it out in private already. What I know is they ain't telling us. That's what I know. So that's what we got as far as like a movie update. But yeah, if we were gonna do a June party, I would love to have some more fan fiction ready to premiere. That's always fun to throw on top of everything. But we do have some fan fiction projects in the works at Matrix University right now. We're getting stuff together. In fact, if anybody is good at collecting images or finding images, I did put a little request for some assistance up. So if you haven't already, please join us on the Matrix University Discord. We got all kinds of fun projects and future projects brewing over there. Because like I said, at this point in the franchise world, we don't know what's coming next or if anything's coming next. And, I'm tired of sitting around and waiting. So I'm just going to make some stuff and see how that goes.
Yeah, it's such a huge, rich universe. They can do so much with.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Some of you who are on the Matrix University know the details, but for those of you who haven't joined us yet, I'm not at liberty to discuss the details of all things here on YouTube. The game has changed. I'll put it that way. So, but yeah, all those type of questions and all those type of things I can answer freely on the Matrix University Discord. There should be a link in the description for that as well. So if you have any questions from me specifically that I can't answer here, ask me there and I will tell you whatever you want to know. So yeah, we're pulling up on the 1 hour mark here, but I think we had a really good chat. Was there anything that you wanted to cover or bring up or ask or Matrix related or not Matrix related?
I'll just shower some love on Resurrections. Like I really love the movie. I went to see it with João and my brother, and it was, a repeat, the sort of rematch of going through watching Revolutions with them 20 years before or 18 years before. And it was like, we were actually there. There's actually this movie. And the action could have been more like the old movies, but I really loved the introduction of light. I thought that was the way Lana mentioned it, how
cinematographer John Tall, because he did the cinematography for that, and what was the other one? Sense8, and what's the long movie? Cloud Atlas.
Oh yeah, Cloud Atlas.
Yeah,
they all look beautiful. They all have that sort of bathed in light, bathed in sun look, and the movie looks amazing. It's different. Yeah, it's being a bit, playing, being critical of the whole experience of even putting that movie together. But I thought it was great that it existed and it sort of acted as, from a script point of view, I thought it was brilliant how it acted as both an ending and a possible continuation. There was the idea of the sentience and IO, and like there's this whole other, if eventually they want to carry on, there's story threads there to carry on in a world. So I thought it was smart how it was sort of like ending and continuing, and again going back, mirroring the end of the first movie with them flying away. I thought that was really smart.
Yeah, no, we talked about it a little bit in the pre-show. I definitely enjoyed the Resurrections experience. I know I had a somewhat unique perspective during that run, but yeah, I was a fan. I was hoping that it would bring us some more stuff. Like you said, it's a very big universe. So I'm not completely ruling it out. But yeah, it's I put this comment up because you said I learned to love Resurrections after seeing it a second time, and I kind of had the feeling like, because when we were going in, the sequels was like that for a lot of people. Like they didn't like them right away, but then they kind of learned to love them. And honestly, I still enjoyed Resurrections more than Revolutions. I feel like they both are flawed in different ways, but when I tallied them up, the flaws for Revolutions bother me a little bit more than the flaws for Resurrections. And that's something we were talking about in pre-show, because to me, I think a lot of what people didn't like in Resurrections, or a lot of people didn't like, I think they picked up on Lana kind of trolling the suits, right? And they kind of internalized that as trolling the fans. And it's like, no. She was shouting us out. Whereas and we had this conversation in the Matrix University Discord with I think Ben brought it up, with the Revolutions, with the third sequel in the franchise, there was a lot of studio meddling. There was a lot of people on set asking questions and trying to change things, and I think that kind of showed. You know what I mean? Like in the final product, like I didn't know what the problems were when I was watching it, but there's a Bill Pope interview on this channel. Well, so that was another thing that came up in the conversation on Matrix University Discord. So the video on this channel is about the article that the Hollywood Reporter put out. In the description of that video, I link the podcast that they're getting the quotes from. Okay. So if you sit and listen to the source, that yellow pilled approach, you got to dig deep when you're doing that yellow pilled research. You got to take it all the way to the bottom. So I listened to the actual full conversation of what Bill Pope was saying. And I didn't put the audio, because I didn't know at that time how to really do that. So, his audio isn't in there, but if you go and listen to his full podcast, that's the other thing too. In the podcast, he's talking about his whole career. He's not just talking about the Matrix. He's done other stuff other than the Matrix. So, I didn't talk about the other stuff. I just focused on the Matrix stuff. But if you listen to the whole interview, he definitely mentions more people being involved, suits and executives and, people saying, oh, it should go this way or shouldn't go that way. And I just think that there was just a lot of noise in Revolutions and that show. And also you got to remember too, they shot him back to back, unlike Doom. You know what I'm saying? Like, so people were just worn out. Like they were already kind of run.
Yeah, it might have been hard to see that, there's not enough Matrix content in the third movie, or what I read about the deleted scenes. Like I did there was going to be this cool, nicer shot of like Neo flying around in the Matrix in Revolutions that would have given more context to like the people. Like you barely see the poor people that are sort of trapped in the Matrix. They don't really appear much in that movie. It would have been nice to get a sense of them. So you get a feel of it.
I would love to see the deleted scenes from all the live action ones, man, because I know that Andrew Lewis Caldwell confirmed, like there's definitely deleted scenes from Resurrections, like believe it. Whether they will ever see the light of day, who knows? Based on what I've heard from Wachowski interviews, like they don't plan on ever sharing that stuff. But I would love for them to change their mind about that. I get it, like maybe not formally, maybe not put it out as a director's cut, but anywhere, like I think
something for the fans.
Like for us, for the guys down here at the bottom of the rabbit hole who want all of it. All right, so Temet, he says, I've been reading that supposedly they wanted to reboot the Matrix with Michael B. Jordan being a younger Morpheus. Has this script been leaked to the public? I can't find it anywhere. So my understanding of this rumor is that this is the age-old, what's the writer from Ready Player One?
Zach Penn.
Thank you, Zach Penn. This is the Zach Penn script. That's my understanding of this rumor. So if that's true, yes, he is confirmed. He wrote the script. The script exists. Now, whether or not it has been leaked to the public, that I have not heard. I doubt it, because when Resurrections came out, before Resurrections came out, but after they announced it, when it was in production, Zach Penn took to Twitter and he said, my script and Lana's script are not related. But that his script was very much still in play. Now, what that means specifically, as far as conversations on the back end, I don't know. But if I had to guess, it meant one of two things. Either one, the plan was if Resurrections did well, they were going to greenlight the Zach Penn script. Or they were just using the Zach Penn script the whole time to leverage Lana into making another movie. Like, okay, if you don't do it, then we'll just use this script and do that. Now, again, this is my conjecture. I'm saying I think it was one of these two situations, one of these two scenarios. I don't know that. I don't work there. I don't have any inside information. I'm just going off of the little bit of circumstantial information that we have. But either way, that's been a rumor since, like, I want to say that rumor started, or at least the young Morpheus script rumor started like a dummy long time ago. I mean, I want to say like 2011, 2012, like old rumor. So yeah, Michael Jordan's name doesn't get attached to it till later on. maybe 2018, 2019, somewhere in and around there. But I mean, it's an old rumor, so I'm not expecting anything on that front. Okay, yeah. So we passed the 1 hour mark here, and again, if you haven't already, please join us at the Matrix University Discord. The link is in the description. You can talk to both of us there. You can ask us questions about our books. The book that we are highlighting today is the Matrix Illuminated, but you can also check out the Agent Syndicate. Trying to think if there was anything else that we wanted to bring up here, any other Matrix related news that has come out since the new year. That's what I'm saying. It's been real dry, man.
Yeah.
It's been real quiet. Oh, that's what but what I did want to say that I almost forgot is thank you guys all for your support. At this time, the last I looked, which was like yesterday, this channel has a total of 972,000 lifetime views. So we are less than 30,000 views away from 1 million channel views, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, that's on.
And I get it. You know, your biggest YouTuber gets 1 million views every week. Got it. I'm not that guy, so I'm proud of it. We're getting close. So, you know, keep watching your favorite videos. Help us get over the hump. And and yeah, watch this space, man. Because like I said, we've got some things cooking on the fan fiction front at the Matrix University Discord. And again, I can say all the things that I want to say there. I cannot say all the things I want to say here because, you know, like I said, the goalpost keeps moving and, you know, the block is hot. You know, people listening, people watching, people checking in. So thank you guys for coming out. Thanks you for being incredible Matrix fans and making this a fun experience for all of us, because that's what makes this, that's how we're still here, is the Matrix community, you know.
Yeah.
And to me, when I you know, started making regular Matrix content in 2019 on YouTube, that was one of my primary goals. I missed that feeling of community that we had in the Matrix Online, you know, and I wanted to see if I could bring that back. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for participating in that, because now we have the Matrix University Discord. We do have a community now. So it's cool to see, you know, those kind of ideas manifest and become reality. And again, something like that I can't do by myself. You know, Matrix University only exists because of you guys. So, you know, join us, ask questions, participate, share your own fan art, share your own fan fiction. And yeah, that's another thing I wanted to say out loud. I'm hoping today is a great example, you know, sharing Matrix Illuminated, you know, sharing other Matrix flavored or themed works of art by people from the Matrix University community. So yeah, you know, this platform is y'all's platform. It's our platform. So, you know, again, if you guys have your own Matrix themed art, share it in the Discord. You know, that's a great community. Everybody's respectful. Everybody, you know, really, I think, supports each other in a healthy way there. So, and thank you guys. Thank you everybody who supports the channel and the community in that way. I really appreciate you every day. I mean, if you check out the yellow pilled affirmations, you can see that I appreciate it every day, because it means a lot. It definitely has been great for me to have company along this journey, especially now that the movie's over and they're not giving us anything. So you are not alone. We are still here.
Yeah, and thank you for running it, for having that space.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a group thing, man. I can't do it by myself. I can't do it without you guys. And so yeah, let's just keep this thing going and see where it goes. And like I said, if anybody is interested in making that that June party happen, once again, join us in the Discord, because we're going to start talking about that a little bit more seriously, as you know, because that's what I said. I said, you know, June is realistic. You know, I know that the original Matrix has an anniversary this month, right? I don't know the date off the top of my head, but it turns 21 this month, the first Matrix. But that's not enough time. You know, I mean, I tell people, if I don't have 30 days to promote the event, then I don't even want to be bothered. You know, like I need at least a month. But yeah, so we got enough time. It's close, but we have enough time. So, you know, Ben, if you're out there, shout out to you for bringing it up. Like I said, if people want to get behind that and do another cosplay party event, and it doesn't have to be a cosplay party, we can have a different Matrix themed event. I like to have the whole cosplay is not required, but encouraged. But yeah, like I said, if people are serious about getting behind that, you can jump up in the Matrix University Discord. Link is in the description, and we will start a party planning. On that note, class is dismissed.